Well, welcome back. If you're like me, uh, certain cars are an absolute no. Certain cars I just cannot fit in for the life of me. But I like my EXPs. They're pretty comfy and cozy for what they are. So, this is about what I'm seeing. So I got the camera right on top of my face here, and this is what I see. Pretty roomy, I suppose. Door's a little close, but pretty roomy. Steering wheel is right up front and center. Armrests, pretty comfy actually. Fits the arm almost perfectly. I could sit here like this all day. I could put my arm up on the windowsill if I had the window down. I could do that all day, no problem. I don't have my crank hooked up here, but it's not out of reach or anything. I have the seat back as far as I can, and my mirror is still exactly how I can still move the mirror to exactly where I want it from where I'm sitting. That's a problem I have in a lot of my cars, because for how tall I am, I'm 6'2", and most of my height is in my legs. I have a 34 or 35 inch inseam, so I'm a pretty tall dude with a short torso. So like I was saying, in most of my cars, I have to have the seat all the way back, which means whenever the window adjustment is like on the top corner of the door, on the dash over here, I don't have a way of moving my mirror because I have to move forward like this, and I move back and it's off, do it again and it's off, do it again and it's still off. I have to do that over and over and over again. And same with the center mirror. To go on there, scooch it, move back, is it right? No. Go up again, scooch it more, is it right? No. But in this car, everything's in reach. I only have to bend over a little bit to get my window. I can crank that up and down without any issues. I can get into the map compartment without problems. Glove box, no problem there either. I can move all the vents around if I have them installed. Leaning forward a little bit, I can play around with the clock. All the stocks are in a decent place, so this is your wiper, and then you push it in for your horn, just like that. And then this is your wiper. And then this is supposed to adjust the speed, but mine doesn't. I need to take it apart and clean it sometime. Headlights, again, right there, right next to your blinker. Or, sorry, not your blinker. Your adjustable mirror joystick. So, just give a yank. Or, you can twist it to the side, and it'll adjust the brightness of your interior lights. Click it to the left, and it turns all of your interior lights on. Reaching the radio, not a problem. Reaching the gear shifter, not a problem. No matter what gear it's in. Handbrake, very convenient. Only thing that some people gripe about is that there's no middle armrest for you to do this while you're driving, but that's not a big concern of mine because most of my cars are manuals, so I almost always have my hand right here or on the wheel, and then that means that my left hand can just lay about, do whatever. So, but in an automatic car, yeah, where the heck am I going to put my right arm? Well, 83s and up have an armrest here, so if you have to have an armrest, you can get an 83 or up armrest in there. It should just pop right in. Or could buy an 83 or higher EXP, all-in-7, whatever. This is where the interior light would be. It's a map light that pops down. It's pretty cool. It's hiding around here somewhere. I haven't installed it yet because I need to put my headliner in, but yeah. The dim headlight dimmer, it's all right. Legroom, it's pretty good. You can see that my feet are behind the pedals, and if you can see the pedal spacing from where you are, all the way over here is where I have my gas. And then over here with my left foot, that's where my brake is. There's a really big opening here. I pass my feet right between them without problems. There. Now you can see both the gas pedal on the right here and my brake pedal. And then right on top of my brake pedal is my clutch pedal there. So for a guy with humongous feet like me, okay, I wear 15 men's wide. So I got big feet. And the biggest problem I have with small cars is that they always put the pedals too close together because they think, people in small cars are small. But you know, we'll make the seat work for tall guys and we'll leave them with enough headroom. But then no one ever moves these pedals around. That was a big problem with my buddy's Passat and his brother's Saturn. The gas pedal was even closer to the I'm going to call it the transmission tunnel. There's no transmission under here, but it's a tunnel for transmission linkage, transmission, drive shaft, or exhaust, whatever. It's a raised portion of the car. And yeah, in the Passat and the Saturn, this pedal was just way too close to the tunnel. So whenever I went to reach for it, my foot would bonk the tunnel, and then other problems. Because in both of those cars, another problem was that the brake pedal was right on top of the gas pedal. So imagine my left foot is the brake pedal, okay, and you can see the gas pedal. So I have my right foot on the gas pedal, and it's tight up against the wall. Well, now if I'm wearing shoes, I can't fit within the space. So I couldn't drive either of those cars with shoes on because my feet would always get stuck underneath the pedal or in front of the center console. And now there's all sorts of issues I have while I'm driving, trying to go down the road. And here I am with my frickin' feet stuck between the pedals. Not fun. Makes stopping a real pain in the butt. But luckily, yeah, you can always push in the clutch. I've never had a clutch pedal be in a bad spot with a car, but you know, it's just something to keep an eye out for. All these are pretty close to the firewall. Got my feet far behind them here. It's really weird in the 82 cars. The gas pedal is the furthest, next is the brake pedal, and then clutch pedal is the closest. Almost looks like a parking brake, it's so close, but you can prop your foot up right there, and then you have really good travel with that. Brakes, mine don't travel too much right now because I don't have them moving. And then the gas pedal, all the ones I've had so far just flop around like this. I don't know if that's a linkage thing or just because, or maybe my actual pedal lever is wearing out, I'm not sure, but all my 82s are like that. My turbo is not like this, it's a little bit more stiff. Its free play is only about half as much. But that's about all there is to that. I can fit my feet all the way forward like you can see, and like, remember when I said I'm a tall guy and all my height's in the trunk? That detail is very important right now because I got the back of my seat pretty much sitting on the floor, and the front of my seat has to be tilted up because if my legs aren't resting on the leading edge of the seat, I'm putting all my weight on my tailbone, and then driving just becomes really unpleasant for me. So I need to have a pretty steep angle to the bottom of my seat, otherwise driving just sucks. But we'll pull the lever and we'll slide forward here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So, me being so tall and long-legged, I can't even have the seat in its most forward position, but it gets awfully close. So, I got the camera right on top of my face, and you can see that the steering wheel is taking up most of the view. Well, it's because it is for me too. That's about, I don't see that much out of the dash. I see about that. So that's what I see. I don't see much of the hood. And with these seat tracks being angled, the further up you are, the higher you are. Because they made that because, you know, short people have to sit closer, so they need to be higher up, and tall people sit further back, and they're higher up, so they need to sit lower. So they got that going for them. They thought ahead really well. Where's my shoulder at? And my shoulder is right about here at the lock. So I can reach over with my left hand, grab that, no problem. I can grab the seat hand, my right hand. I can grab the seat belt with my right hand, no problem. I gotta oil it up so it goes back again. The headrest, they extend, but they don't really do much. They go up. That's as far up as they go. And I'd have to be sleeping to utilize this. I'm right on top of it. And it's not all that comfortable, because if you can see here, the seat, it's got a lot of relief right here, and then it comes up here. Now you have a headrest. So when you're sitting in it normally, it feels very comfortable. But if you try leaning back, I'm sure it doesn't even look natural for me. I mean, for like this, well, now I'm in good shape again. But, yeah, not much to it. Yeah, I have full access to everything. I can reset the trip from here. My seat also reclines. There's a lever on the side. And I'm going to stick this right on my head. And you can see how far back I go. So I'm on my back now, and this is where the headrest becomes handy, because I could sleep here all day. That's not a problem. I've even done it. It's really nice. Going back up is a little bit of a chore, because there is a rather complicated linkage system going on down in here. What's supposed to happen is there's a lever, or I say lever, it's more of a little tab on the back of the seat, this guy here. What happens is you pull this up, and it's supposed to allow the seat to go back in some direction. And moving it one way locks the seat, moving it the other unlocks it. But I haven't had them work inside the car. I've got them to work outside the car, but it's a little complicated. You have to have that itty-bitty lever set in the right location. And you have to have the top of your seat tilted at the right location for it all to work. But once you figure out how it works, and you can keep it going in the location that it works, it should work for you forever, no problem. But that's about it. I got another map compartment here. Not much for floor space in the back. But if I had a rear seat back here, I'm sure there would be plenty. Only issue is you're very limited on headroom, especially being that I have a notch back. I'm hunting around for a rear seat out of an Escort, first gen Escort, and then I can toss it in the car and experiment with it, because, you know, if you know me, I have a couple of these notch backs, I have a bubble back, but what I want the back seat in is my convertible, and I want it to fold flat to this cargo area. Some companies in the 80s and 90s made rear seats that would do that back here. They fold flat into this, and you'd otherwise have no idea that you have a back seat. It looks nice. But my convertible, why I want a back seat in that is because when I have the top down, you have all the headroom in the world. How I'm sitting right now, you can probably see that there's a good six inches from the roof, being the beam here, about 6 inches away from that, maybe even more, maybe pushing 7. My convertible is about the same. Sunroof cars might be a little bit less, but then keep in mind that in this whole area here, you do have a sunroof, so it is a little taller if you sit more upright than I do. To relieve the strain on my back and my tailbone, I sit back a little bit. Compare it to my other seat, a little bit lower than this one that's in the seats. I think it's in the most forward position, or one notch back from it. But yeah, that's about all there is to two of these. This is the non-cruise control wheel, and it's pretty thin. It's swollen up a little bit. It's supposed to be all black, but I think it's a vinyl coating on the rubber has been peeling off for some time because the rubber's just been expanding. But it's pretty thin. But I prefer the thin wheel. I know race guys love them big chubby things, but that doesn't do me any good. It's not comfy to the hand. I have rather big hands. Grabbing something huge just doesn't nice to me. But no power steering, not a problem. I can do this all day, whether I'm moving or not. So if you're wondering if your EXP should have power steering or not, don't worry about it. If it does have power steering, you should make it work. Because if you have a power steering rack, but you don't have the power steering working, it's harder to turn than it is a normal rack car. So that is very much something to keep in mind. The cruise control wheels look a little nicer. They're fully padded, and they just have two little buttons, and on and off, set and resume. That's about it. But they share this general shape. My turbo wheel is very different, but of course I'll have a video on that later. So this kind of concludes my 82 video. I'll make one on my 83 sometime, because that has the same configuration, everything here. The only difference is it has an armrest. So does the armrest help, or is it useless? We can find that out later. I also have my turbo car that has the 2nd gen dash, 2nd gen console, 2nd gen wheel, and it has the turbo seats, the very famous turbo seats. So we'll spend a little time sitting in there once I make sure that there's no more snakes in it. But yes, that will be pleasant. So we'll leave it at that for now. And if you find an EXP, hop in it sometime. They're fun to sit in. Getting in and out of, not always the easiest thing. I have to crawl in and out of it because, like I said, I'm a 6'2" guy, and these cars only sit, I think, 43 inches tall, and mine's even got bigger tires on it and still only sits, like 43 inches tall. So I have to go down pretty far to get in, but I like being really close to the road. I don't like my SUVs and my pickup trucks where I'm sitting in it like I'm in a poker chair. But yeah, this is where we're at right now. Like I said, keep an eye out for more videos. We'll be playing around in more EXPs this summer, so stay tuned.